Alright, we are recording for Story Tale 3 in Grimm's Fairy Tales. This one's Tom Thumb, and we'll see if I can keep this video as short as he is. And it is mildly different from, because I mentioned the previous one, that some of these stories I do know by other means. And this one it's closer to one of the versions I've seen of it, but others were more comedic. Okay. So the story starts with a couple that they have no children and they want children. Like their home is always quiet and still, while their neighbors who have children, their homes are noisy and lively. And the wife even does comment that even one as large as her thumb would still fill them with happiness, and they would love it with all their hearts. And one thing I do find a little interesting. Let me just... Now it so happened that the woman fell ill, and after 7 months gave birth to a child that was perfect in all its limbs, but no longer than a thumb. So I do find that interesting that it mentions 7 months. I'm pretty sure they'd be aware that it's normally 9 months. So I am curious if that is... I'm trying to think of how best to put it. If they are describing him as actually being a premature birth, if this is somehow connected to that phenomena that may have been occurring then, though 2 months early seems unlikely to survive without great medical care, but, I mean, I guess it's possible. Just trying to think. I feel like I have known of at least one where the child was born like a month early, but it was intact. You know, it's like it wasn't there weren't great developmental issues at that time, so like could go home quickly, not needing to be in the NICU. But that was 1 month, not 2. So yeah, I do find that a curious detail in there. But anyway, they do love him. And he never grows. They do feed him plenty, but he never grows. He's described as wise and nimble, so everything that he does basically turns out well. And he does try to be helpful to them. And this leads to an interesting encounter where, because he is so small, people don't really see him. So he was directing their horse to bring a cart because his father had to go into the woods to cut firewood. He was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll bring the cart out." How? Don't worry, just, Mom, you hitch up the horses. You go, Dad, I'll get there. And what he does is he has his mother place him in the horse's ear. So then he's just directly telling the horse what to do. Okay, makes sense. But a couple dudes are riding by and like, we're hearing a driver for this horse, but we're not seeing him. What's going on here? So they follow and eventually figure it out. And I'm like, "Hey, mister, we'll buy him from you." Because they're thinking we can like do a circus show kind of thing in a town. We'll be rich. Some people will come to see this event, see this thing. And I was like, no, we could never do that. But Tom is like, "Go ahead, I'll be back soon. Just go ahead. What? So anyway, I was like, okay, sells him. And when they make camp, Tom finds a mouse hole and just hides in it. And taunts him a little bit. They try to reach in and get him, but can't. And then when it gets dark, they're like, "Yeah, we can't find him anymore. We'd better just go home and give up." Which I do find a little curious. It's not like he was probably going to go back home. Why don't we go and get, go and wait for him as parents, or even just go back and be like, "Give us the money. Return our money to us." But in any case, so Tom betrays them. Then while he is waiting there, 2 thieves go by who are planning to rob a rich pastor in the area. And they're like, "Oh, well, how are we going to get the money out?" Tom's like, and Tom is like, I'll help you. So he does. They bring him there. He's able to get through the bars, and and the plan is for him to just hand whatever they want. He'll hand it to them out the window. But because, true, it is wrong for him to help these thieves. It is wrong for him to steal. But again, he betrays them because he starts yelling out, "What do you want me to hand you? I can get everything you want. Just tell me." He's yelling this out so they wake somebody up, so the thieves will be scared and run off. And ultimately they do. He then also hides himself so that the maid who's there doesn't find him. And what he ends up doing is hiding in a bunch of hay. Now at this point, I think it is... there is a bit of a moral here. I don't think it's as clear as maybe it could be. I'm not sure. Because it requires a certain extrapolation from the story. He's hiding in the hay. The pastor has a cow. The maid gets up and feeds the cow with the hay. So Tom wakes up in time to realize, oh, these are teeth around me. And is then swallowed. So he's in the stomach intact and starts yelling, "Stop feeding me! Stop feeding me!" to get them to stop feeding the cow, which scares the maid, and she runs into the house, and is telling the pastor, and he's like, "Sure, yeah, totally, the cow's talking. I believe you." But he still goes out, and Tom starts yelling again. It's like, "The devil's in there!" Essentially, so it's like, it's possessed. It's got an evil spirit. Kill it. Okay. You'd think an exorcism would be in order, but no, kill it. All right. So the cow was killed, but instead of cutting open the stomach or anything like that, it's just thrown out. It says in the midden, which I'm not entirely sure what that is referring to. I assume it's just in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that's the word midden. Regardless, he now has to struggle to get out of the stomach, and before he does, a wolf comes up and eats the stomach. So now he's eating again. And it's like, all right, well, hey, wolf. Yeah. Want some, good food? Want to be able to fill yourself? Yeah, just tell me where to go. So he tells him of his parents' home and tells him that there is a way he could sneak in by the sink. So the wolf does is gets in, empties the larder, or at least eats a significant portion of it, and now turns around to get out. But the problem is, and Tom planned on this, it's not a good plan, but in any case, the wolf has so gorged itself it can't get out. So now Tom just starts yelling again to wake up his parents, who will then be like, who come out and say, "Ah, wolf, run out." Pops grabs an axe. Mom grabs a scythe. And then they come back. And Pops is like, "I'm going to hit it with the axe. You then cut it up with the scythe, okay? We want none of this wolf to exist anymore. You got that, honey?" But Tom is still in there. And is yelling at, I'm here. "Honey, put the scythe down. Our son's there." Somehow this is just normal. Hits him with the axe. Kills the wolf. Then say, "Okay, get the knives, get the scissors, we'll get him out." Get him out, and then it's the whole, just happy reunion kind of thing. Tom pledges never to leave home again because he's seen so much of the world, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here now. And they promise to never sell him again. It's like, why is that even a thing? Why do you have to different times. So yes, in a way, we do have the moral here that twice, Tom betrayed people. He betrayed the two people who bought him, just to try to make money, and he intended to betray them. And then he betrayed the thieves. And then what happens? He's eaten twice by two different animals. A cow that is more of a passive animal. So I could see that being a more forgiving kind of punishment for him. It's like, cows are just more passive. I don't think that getting eaten by a cow is necessarily as bad as getting eaten by a wolf. But either way, it still is, he betrays twice, he's eaten twice. And he has to figure out a way out of both. And I guess it does also make sense. How does he ultimately get out of that? It is with his parents. Returning to his parents, reconciling with them, and then they rescue it. But it still is. I feel like you need a little bit of an extrapolation here, because I mean, it's like, to me, because maybe it is just I'm old, I'm jaded, so the whole being it's clearly a fairy tale. Him being eaten and being in the stomach of these animals is like, yeah. And what happens next? I guess for a kid though, it would be much scarier. Um, and so it would be more obvious the moral here not to be this traitor, that not really traitor, but to not betray these people. Because technically they dealt with him in good faith, even though thieves are not necessarily the best of people. It still is. He betrayed both, so it's. So yeah, there is a moral there, but yeah, it's not that clear. I just feel. I mean, it would be. I think it would be better if, at least with the wolf, I can understand now with the cow, but with the wolf, if it were clearer the danger he were in. Where even here, let me find it. Okay, Tom Thumb did not lose courage, being within the wolf's stomach. Perhaps, thought he, the wolf will listen to what I've got to say. And he called to him from out of his stomach, Dear wolf, I know of a magnificent feast for thee. Where is it to be had? In such and such a house. Blah, 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 blah. It would have been nicer, I think, if the wolf had made some comment there or later that, like, make the comment right there of, well, why should I risk going after this feast when I already have you? And this would be entirely appropriate. Like, the nature of a wolf is to eat. A little bit of a fun fact for those of you that know some chemistry. Tungsten has the atomic symbol of W. Why? The word is tungsten. There's no W in that, so why is it W? I might be mispronouncing it, but as I recall, well, no, I know what I remember is right. I might not be remembering the word, which is wolf's mite. I might have that word wrong, but it still is wolf something. The reason why it's called that is because if tungsten is present in the smelting of tin, it destroys it. Wolf's mite translates devourer of tin. Wolf, devourer. So it would have made sense if there were some mention of the nature of the wolf as a devourer, that why would I not just devour you and not worry about this? Or even once he has eaten, and if Tom, if there was something like it's, the whole, well, now I've had this feast and I shall enjoy you as well, something like that where the wolf does it, and then Tom, realizes the error of his way, that what he's doing is wrong, that he has brought himself to this situation. I think that would have been good. But no, that's not what we have. So, oh well. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say. It is just the moral is there, but I feel either you are relying on a children's imagination extrapolating what it's like to be eaten and be in an animal's stomach, or it is, I kind of do wish it could be adjusted a little bit to exaggerate, well, not exaggerate, but to strengthen that point of how horrible that would be. That's it. I don't think I really have anything more. Next is the robber bridegroom, right? Yeah, which I have no familiarity with. Well, not that I know of. Maybe I do by some other name. I do not know. After that is Cinderella, though, which definitely do know. Yeah, that'll be interesting. But in any case, see you next time.